Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm happy to see you. Okay, not that happy to see you. In my pocket here I've got the Zhiyun Smooth X gimbal. This is a 2-axis gimbal for your mobile phone that fits in your pocket. Quick disclaimer, Zhiyun did send me one of these, but I've been using their products since the OG days of the Zhiyun crane. I do think they were one of the best gimbal companies out there. Now, I was never really convinced about smartphone gimbals because smartphone stabilization is getting so good right now in the cameras. But I did want to try this out and see if it can actually be better than just using the stabilization inside the phone. So just how did they make it so small? Well, basically they've removed one axis of stabilization from the usual gimbals. On normal gimbals you get 3 axes of stabilization. You get the roll axis, the pan axis and the tilt axis. What they've actually done is removed the tilt axis stabilization from this, which is actually what gives most gimbals their bulk. What this does mean though is you do have to avoid tilting the gimbal forwards and backwards, as it won't stabilize this. One way to get around this is you can actually use this little manual tilt here to tilt it forwards, so it's a bit more natural to hold. I do always recommend holding gimbals at an angle like this if you want to get the steadiest shots. The other great feature about the gimbal is this extendable pole. So if I do this, it gives you a little bit of extra room. So if you're vlogging, you want to get more of the background in shot, or if you want to get more people in shot, obviously it just gives you a bit of a wider angle with the front camera. The other thing I recommend is always extending the pole, just because it gives that little bit more stability. The further the phone is away from your hand, the less those vibrations sort of transfer upwards. Although if the person you're trying to get in shot with you is significantly shorter than you, this gimbal is not going to perform any miracles and you probably still have to crouch down. And on the handle here you have your controls. So you've got an analog stick here, and if you go left and right, obviously controls the pan axis. If you go up and down on the analog stick, it controls the rotation. And then you've got the M button on the bottom of that, and if you press that once, it locks the pan axis into place. So if I twist and move, the pan axis won't actually change at all. And if I press that twice, we've got portrait mode, which is obviously great for TikTokers because some people are into that. And then next to that you've got the record button, which, fun fact, actually works on any camera app as far as I can tell, and not just the Zhiyun camera app. And then finally on the right you have the zoom controls. I'm not going to lie, I looked this product up before I tested it and there were some shoddy shots, so I wasn't expecting much. But it's pretty steady if you use it right. I've done some comparisons between filming with the iPhone 12 Pro on its own and filming with the Zhiyun Smooth X. Run the B-roll. So having looked at the footage, I definitely think that the gimbal helped. The iPhone 12 footage is so stable as it is. The stabilization is amazing on iPhones, but the Smooth X definitely helped to get rid of some of those warpy shots that you get when it's trying to stabilize you walking. You definitely do miss that tilt axis sometimes, but sometimes it can also work to your advantage, where you can sort of tilt it forwards and backwards depending on when you need it, rather than relying on an analog stick to do it. But again, sometimes you do miss it when you're walking, and you can still see some of that bobbling action. I think for some of the sliding reveal shots or some really basic movements, I think maybe using the phone on its own is good enough if you've got a steady hand. But for walking shots and things where you may be rotating around something, it definitely is beneficial to use a Smooth X. And again, maybe you're just on holiday or out and about and you don't want to focus too much on being steady. You just want to capture the moment as it is. The Zhiyun Smooth X is obviously going to help you get those smooth shots without having to focus too much. The thing is, some people don't buy these gimbals just for the stabilization, and there's some extra features too that people like. And if you download the ZY Cami app, which is the app you use to connect your phone to this gimbal, there's some extra features in here that some people might find useful. One of those features is active tracking. It's only available in 1080p at the moment, so I don't necessarily think I'll use it. I like to get the most of my phone camera and film in 4K, but you can, if you want to, draw a box around the object and it will automatically track them. You've probably seen it before on other cameras or other gimbals, and you can do that here and it works really, really well. You can also use gestures to start recording, and it'll also automatically start the tracking as well. So gestures are also a thing on this if you're using the ZY Cami app. And one of my favourite features is motion lapse. It's like a time lapse, but the camera will automatically pan as it's taking the time lapse. All you have to do is set a start point and end point, and the gimbal will automatically turn the camera as it's taking the time lapse. The ZY Cami app is okay. I did find it a little bit glitchy at the start. I did struggle to connect to the gimbal while I was out and about a couple of times, but now it seems to be stable, seems to be working well, and it's got a couple of extra features on top of the usual iPhone camera app. One of those actually being manual controls, so you can actually dial in your manual shutter speed and ISO using this app. So on top of the gimbal itself, you also get a nice little carrying case, a charging cable, and these tripod legs. Now, anyone who's seen my gimbal reviews will know I care about these gimbal legs, and these feel out of place. They're much more plasticky and the gimbal is wonky when it's on these tripod legs. I fully recommend buying Insta360's extendable tripod legs, as they're great quality and more sturdy. A great set of legs. So I've made a little rig here for recording yourself at head height with the Zhiyun Smooth X, and I just want to show you it. So you've got the Insta360 mini tripod legs, then you've got the Insta360 invisible selfie stick, which comes all up here, and then you've got the Zhiyun Smooth X. So whatever I've just done is identified the tracking mode, and now it's going to track me. So it's pretty sensitive, to be honest. But while that tracks me, I just want to tell you about the link down below in the description. If you did want to buy this Zhiyun Smooth X, then you can click the link down below in the description to Amazon, and they've been kind enough to provide me with a coupon code. So all you got to do is click the link down below in the description, add the item to your basket, and then apply the coupon code, and you'll get a little bit off, and that's until the 19th of March. So let's do some vlogging on this thing while I tell you my thoughts. As someone who likes to take lots of photos and videos on holiday, and someone who's trying to make a lot more with just my phone camera, I want a small and lightweight setup. I've been using the Osmo Pocket, DJI Osmo Action, and I never really thought that I'd want a smartphone gimbal, just because it would make the setup a bit more bulky and I would have to carry it around in a bag or something. Something about taking the Pro DSLR out on holiday and taking photos and videos really disengages me from what's around me and takes me back into work mode. But I think I might end up actually using this. The pros are that I can use my iPhone 12 Pro camera, and when I update the phone, I don't need to update the gimbal. It's got a little bit of extra reach for filming yourself like this, and also it's pocketable, so I can take it around with me on holiday and it won't interfere. I don't need to carry a bag to carry it around in. It's just an awesome package altogether. The negatives are that you do miss that tilt axis sometimes, and again those legs are a bit plasticky, and so you might need to buy a different set of tripod legs. But you can pick one of these up for 50 or 60 quid, and for that it is great value for money. I'm really happy Zhiyun sent me one of these. I'll definitely be taking it on my next holiday, when we can finally go on holiday. And it's actually converted me around to the world of mobile phone gimbals, so maybe I'll start using them more in the future. So I've been Chris Spice. If you find this entertaining or informative, then hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to see more videos like this on being mobile with your camera equipment, then do hit that subscribe button. And if you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.